computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers. We recover data from devices that don't want to give your data back. We build you new computers. We troubleshoot things over the internet for you. You know, all around, when you have technology issues, we are here to help you out, and this morning is no different. You can reach the program this morning, 402-558-1110. You can join us from outside the metro area. We'll even pick up the dime for the call, right? Well, since when is a call a dime? Since when has a call been a quarter? How much does a call even cost now? I don't know. Haven't had to put a coin in a machine for a while, but either way, we'll pay for it. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us toll-free if you're outside the metro area. We are broadcasting live this morning, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. If you want to pick up the show there, there's a lively conversation that always happens in the comments between. It's a beautiful thing, actually. We have listeners helping listeners. We have got people talking about different stories and things that are going on and making connections that I might make myself here, but not quite talk about till the aftershock. You know, fun things like that are happening over there at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. If you do end up over there, I know some of you don't do the Book of Faces. I understand. Believe me, I understand. If you are one of the people watching and listening online, though, if you could like and share that the broadcast for me, it does wonders for us finding new listeners that we can help going forward. It means a lot to us over at Schrock, and it helps everybody in the community out as well. Now, if you are somebody who does not do the Book of Faces, I would direct you over to our website at SchrockInnovations.com, where we take all the videos that we put on the Book of Faces and we stick them up there so you don't have to look at Facebook, right? So you can, and you know, we used to put the Aftershock and the Compute This show together, like two separate videos uploaded to YouTube. But then we started getting strikes on YouTube for saying things that, you know, YouTube didn't think were true, or didn't think was true. I don't know. So we started uploading the Aftershock exclusively to Rumble as opposed to Rumble and to YouTube. So we actually pulled our content, half of our content, from YouTube. Anyone who owns a business knows you have to play the Google game. You have to play the Google game. There's no way around it. If you want new business, you got to be present on Google, which means you need to be present on YouTube. So we are still uploading to YouTube. We're just kind of spreading the love a little bit. So you can pick up those videos, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations live, or you can go over to our website, SchrockInnovations.com. We usually have them uploaded by Monday or Tuesday there to get you caught back up again. Now, speaking of the Schrock website, if you missed last week's show, you can pick that up over on the website, as I mentioned, SchrockInnovations.com. Last week, we warned you that time was almost up to take advantage of the biggest, literally the biggest upgrade sale we have ever done at Schrock. Time is really almost up now. Like, we have hours left in this special. We'll tell you about that coming up on the program here. Last week, we also updated you on this Apple Watch situation with the oxygen sensors that basically a judge ruled that Apple can't sell their watches. So Apple's got some workarounds, and the big question was, should you go out and buy an Apple Watch right now and get around the ban? And maybe yes, maybe no. So we talked about that a little bit on the program. We also introduced you to a technology, or reintroduced you to a technology. It's what powers all those AirTags and Samsung tags and even Tiles. It's called ultra-wideband technology, and it's in only pretty much iPhones and the most advanced flagship Android phones. Think like your Samsung Folds and your Samsung, Galaxy S series, that kind of stuff. This technology is something that is going to be more and more widely used instead of Bluetooth going forward in the future. So we told you about that and why you want to make sure when you pick your next cell phone, you want to make sure you get a model that has ultra wideband support, because that might be how your next set of headphones actually connects to your phone instead of Bluetooth, because it uses so much less power. It makes your battery last a lot longer. And while we were talking about mobile devices, some of you, we get calls almost every week. Calls, emails, questions every week in the service center for sure, if not on the show, about ways that people outside of the normal service area can get high-speed internet. So if you can't get, cable modem, if you are too far to get DSL from a demarcation point, how do you get high-speed internet in your home? And a lot of people are turning to cellular internet to do that. Well, which provider do you go with? Verizon? Do you go with AT&T? Well, we told you about T-Mobile scoring double the speed of all other competitors. Literally, they are faster than AT&T and Verizon put together. And that's not just like a cherry pick stat from one city. That was speedtest.net saying of all the tests that have been run everywhere in the world using mobile technology, this is the result, the average result. And T-Mobile was twice as fast as everybody else. They're also cheaper, which is crazy. So anyway, we told you about all that. So it was a really busy show last week. So I encourage you, if you missed it, to listen to it. There's a lot of great information there. Coming up on the program today, as I mentioned, we only have a few days left, 3 days to be precise, if you don't count today, to take advantage of our upgrade sale over at Schrock. One of the things that we talk about ad nauseum on this program is when you're buying a computer, when you're purchasing a machine, there's a lot of choices. You can go get a Dell, you can go get an HP, you can go to the box store, you can go to the Mart, you can come to Schrock. There's lots of places that you can go to buy a computer. Some of you are going to choose to come to Schrock, and some of you are going to choose for whatever reason to not come to Schrock. Totally, hey, we service all kinds, all makes, all models. We don't discriminate. In fact, if you're a Schrock repair customer and you buy an HP or a Dell, we'll see you a lot sooner. So, we'll actually make more money, so it's okay. Really, we have no problem with this. But one of the things that we talk about a lot is when you're buying a computer, to be very careful not to buy the computer that you need for today. Buy the computer that you need for tomorrow, especially the way that the world is going now with everything being built on the board. If you're going to buy a Mac, for example, if you buy the Mac that you need today, 2 years from now, you'll be crying about it because you can't upgrade them anymore. You literally can't. All the memory is on board. The storage, the hard drive is on board. It's on the motherboard. So if you want to upgrade any of those things, you just have to buy a whole new Mac. There isn't any way to swap out a device or chips or anything. You just got to buy a whole new Mac, and we know they're expensive, right? So if you're buying a computer, buy the computer that you need for tomorrow. Now, when you come into Schrock and buy computers, the risk is a lot lower, which is weird, right? We're like a smaller company, so how can the risk be lower, Thor? I don't understand this. The risk is lower because when we build our computers, because we're smaller, we don't go out and say, hey, we can save 50 cents a motherboard if we build everything together on this board and we contract Taiwan Semiconductor to build us special motherboards, and then we have another company make rolled steel cases or plastic cases that are designed to specifically accommodate that motherboard. And then we need a power supply, so we make a power supply, but we build it in such a way that you can't just go out and buy any power supply and replace it. You have to get our power supply to replace it. And now I have a completely proprietary, what would be a Dell or an HP. If something goes wrong and you want to upgrade it, well, you're out of luck because we can't change out the motherboard. Because we can't change the motherboard, we can't change the processor. Maybe we can add some memory as long as there's enough power in the power supply to push it, but they run them pretty tight now, so there might not be. When you get a modular computer from Schrock, the desktops, everything is upgradable to the point where we can switch the entire core of the computer out. We can take out the motherboard, the processor, the memory, put a whole new one in. We could literally take somebody who bought a computer from us 20 years ago. They could bring that computer into us and we can upgrade that computer to a 2023 holiday special if we wanted to, because it's that upgradable. Now, typically when you're doing upgrading, that much upgrading, if you were to do something like that, would be a little cost prohibitive because of the labor, right? We got to put in the motherboard, then we have to update Windows, then we have to, install the new drivers, and we have to put in the processor, we have to put in the memory, we have to do the memory test. We have to do all these things to make sure the computer is going to work well before we can send it out the door. And it takes a lot of time, and labor is $140 an hour. So if it takes 3 hours to do your upgrade, well, wow, maybe I should just buy a new computer. I mean, I know it's upgradable. I know you can do it, Thor, but maybe we shouldn't do it. So during the sale in January, what we decided to do, which is completely bonkers, I'm still kicking myself for this one. The number one complaint you're going to hear about from every small business owner is that labor is stupid expensive right now. We're talking like 30% higher than last year at this time. So what does Thor do? Let's run a sale where we don't charge for labor. That's great. Oh my gosh. But no, that's what we did. And ironically, it's been really well received. The only thing that kind of got in the way was weather. So we had some people that didn't come out because, we had 2 days where we were closed, for example. That's why we made up some of those labor dollars, And then, we had days after that and days before that where people didn't come out because of the weather surrounding those days. So we had, and for this sale, we have to have your computer. So if this is something you want to take advantage of, if you want us to do the upgrade and not charge any labor, it's just the cost of parts. We can schedule you for a free pickup. We can come out to you, pick up your computer, bring it back to the shop and do the upgrade. We will then drop it off when it's done. You get a 1-year warranty on all the parts. If you want to bring your computer in, you can swing it into us. We'll take a look at it, let you know exactly what it's going to cost before we do anything. There's no charge for us to give you a quote on what it's going to cost to upgrade it. If you'd prefer to do some of this activity over the phone, for example, in some cases we can tell you for sure what's going on. In other cases, if the computer is a little bit older, my guys, some of them weren't around for the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. So they may not know what motherboard was in a particular model at a particular time. But they can look at your processor and they can pretty much tell you what you're going to be capable of doing and what it's going to cost, and at least give you a ballpark. So there's a lot of different ways that we can help you out on this special. And it's something that if you're thinking about doing an upgrade, or you're thinking about maybe it's time to buy a new computer and you have one of our modular desktops or even one of our solid state laptops, we can still switch out the hard drives in our solid state laptops and we can still switch out the memory in almost every model. The Resolute is the only model we can't change out memory in because it's just all on board, kind of like the Mac. So if you have any of those computers, we can definitely upgrade you. It's something that you can get done for essentially 50% off. It's just the cost of the parts, but there's only 3 days left to do it. So if it was something you're going to take advantage of in January, highly recommend you pop in and do that. Also coming up on the program today, you're familiar with Ring doorbells, right? The Ring video doorbell, it's what, you see video all over, TikTok or Facebook about people, funny things they catch on their doorbells. Oh, look, there's a deer in the front yard, or, oh, look, someone's stealing my car. You see all kinds of weird things. Well, so does law enforcement, right? So law enforcement is able to use that video as basically an eyewitness. So if it's such a great law enforcement tool, why is Ring now prohibiting law enforcement from using it? That's happening this week. We're going to tell you what's going on there. If you're concerned about artificial intelligence possibly taking your job, there's a lot of talk about that going on right now. I've got some news for you. Your job might be a little bit more secure than you think, because while we've all been focusing, it's kind of like, upgrading that 20-year-old computer. While it might be technically possible to do it, what's it going to cost? And when you lay out the numbers, sometimes those greasy, messy humans are actually cheaper than the AI. Oh, yeah. So we're going to tell you if basically the math and how it works out to keep your job safe with some specific examples coming up on the program. Also, there's a new update for Apple iOS this week. And as we do every time there's a new update out, we're going to let you know if there are any bugs, if it's something you should install now, or if you should wait. We're going to cover all that on the program. 402-558-1110 is your shoehorn way to jump in on the action. Get a chance to win a $25 Schrock Innovations gift card as well, or 888-250-2091 toll free. Now, the last little thing I'm going to do here before we jump to our first break, we had a situation in the Papillion Service Center this week. Doesn't happen often, but one of our suppliers, we ordered what were supposed to be Galant laptops, Ryzen 5 processors, 12 gigs of RAM, backup hard drives, no touchscreen on these, backlit keyboard, the whole bit. Apparently they were out of stock. And so what they decided to do instead was to not tell us they were out of stock, but just ship us replacement units. And the replacement units they sent us are more expensive computers. They are pricier than what we normally buy. So they probably figured, hey, no problem. They'll be happy that they're getting i5s instead of Ryzen 5s, and that the keyboard is not backlit, even though, the ones we normally order have a backlit keyboard. But we're going to counter that by giving them a touch screen, because the ones they normally order don't have a touch screen. So they didn't ask us, they just did it. And so we thought, we got 5 of them in, and we're like, oh, this is stupid. We can't sell these to people who bought Galants. I mean, some people might be happy that they get an i5 and a touch screen, but other people are going to be mad that they don't get the backlit keyboard anymore with that one. So, we're not changing our models up just yet. So it's not time, this is just weird, right? So then we looked into sending them back, and the amount of money it's going to cost for us to send them back was prohibitive. And so, yeah, we were not so happy with our supplier, but needless to say, I've got now 4 left of these Galant touchscreen computers. From a computing perspective, they are faster than what our normal Galant has, primarily because they have a newer generation Intel i5 processor. The memory is the same. Everything else is pretty much the same except for the backlit keyboard. I want to be clear about that. It does not have a backlit keyboard, but it does have a touchscreen. So I've got these 4 oddball computers sitting around in my service center. I posted up on Facebook about them, gave everybody in the Facebook world a chance to a whole week to jump on these beforehand. We had 5, then we had 8 because another shipment came in and they did it again. We sent those back because we're like, if we don't start sending them back, they're not going to actually stop sending us these. So we sent them back, even though we had to pay to do it. But we still have 4 of the original 5 left. So if it's something that you would like to take advantage of, what we're doing, normally a Galant is $999. So it's $1,000 to buy a Galant laptop. They're really nice laptops. I don't want to keep these 4 laptops around because they don't match what's in our catalog. They're not something that we don't do like onesie, twosie truckload sale kind of things. It's not like, Mrs. B's Furniture Warehouse where we got a shipment of, 3-legged stools in, so let's go. It's not like that. This is a weird shipment that we got of 4 laptops. So we're going to mark them down actually to $899. My staff thinks I'm nuts again, because they're like, Thor, this is technically a faster laptop than what the Galant is, because it's a little bit newer, generational wise. We usually update our computers after the Ultimate Upgrade sale in the spring every year. That's when the 2024 model line will come out. The computer is technically a little bit faster than what we normally sell, but it's also $100 cheaper than a typical Galant because I don't want to keep them around, guys. I just want to get my capital back that we put into them, get them out there. And so my loss is your gain, as they say in the sales industry. Our loss is your gain, money back guarantee, that kind of garbage. But no, it's a really good opportunity. So these are up on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. Obviously, the service centers, Omaha, Lincoln, Papillion open today at noon. Des Moines closed today. So if you want to grab one of these, I would recommend that you hit us up on the website, SchrockInnovations.com. If you'd prefer to call the service centers when we're open, you can call and place an order as well. There is no back ordering on these. When they are gone, they are gone, because I only literally have 4 left. They're all 4 in the Papillion Service Center right now, so we'll transfer them wherever they need to go. But there you go. There's an opportunity for you to save a little bit of money. When does that happen in this inflationary world that we live in? 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Going to take our first break, guys. When we come back, Ring video doorbells, great eyewitnesses, funny little videos. But the police apparently can't look at them anymore. And we're going to tell you what Amazon has done coming up next on Compute This.
There are enough unused computers in storage to give every man, woman, and child in the U.S. an old, outdated, and useless computer system. Obsolete tablets and smartphones are nearly as bad. Most people know not to throw them into the landfill where they leak and contaminate, but it's hard to find a place to safely recycle electronics. That's why Schrock Innovations offers free recycling for computers, laptops, phones, tablets, cords, and accessories. In fact, only monitors and printers have a small recycling fee. Everything else is free. More importantly, Schrock will securely delete any data from your devices and hard drives before they are sent to a certified recycling partner who will then repeat the wiping process just to be safe. When you recycle your old technology at Schrock, you know your identity and privacy are protected and your equipment is being actually recycled by a certified recycling partner. Schrock is proud to recycle more e-waste than we produce annually, making a positive difference to our economy and ecology. Do your part by dropping your old gear at any Schrock service center and be part of the area's largest and most popular technology recycling program with Schrock Innovations.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back.
You would probably rather drink the water at Camp Lejeune than get another call about the desperate need to renew your car's expiring warranty. Who actually responds to those calls? Everyone wants to play the warranty game where you pay money now just in case you need service later that everyone hopes you won't need or use. It's such a waste. It's no different with computers. Major manufacturers' warranties have more subscript crosses than a Sunday morning church service. Batteries are exempt. Hard drives must be completely dead and forget about anything that they can remotely claim as physical damage. That's why Schrock warranties are different. When you purchase a modular PC or a solid-state laptop and extend your warranty, we offer a no-risk money-back guarantee. If you need the warranty, you will be thrilled to have it. If you don't use it, we refund your money automatically every time. That's right, we are so confident in the quality of our products that our extended warranties are refundable. Many Schrock customers use their refunds to purchase another warranty or pocket the savings and move on. We all know you'll need it to cover that expiring car warranty anyway. Schrock's refundable extended warranties. Just another way the Schrock Innovations Computer Company makes your computer work for you.
Oh my gosh, guys, I am so thrilled over here on Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock, by the way, owner of Schrock Innovations. As you might imagine, we do all kinds of technical stuff over at Schrock, right? But for some flippin' reason, for the last 5 weeks, I have had the toughest time actually remembering to turn on the audio on the Facebook feed, right? So this week, I triple checked it. I'm like, it's on, we're good, we're go. Jeffrey comes up and says, I can't hear anything. And I'm like, ha! For once, I am proud to say, it's not me, it's you. Which we never get to say at Schrock. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that you're having trouble with your technology, sir. We'll get through this. Oh, I guess I should wait till my power comes back on, huh? Oh yeah, have a great day. It's not me, it's you. No, we can't say that. Can't say that. Even if it's true, we can't say that because that would be rude, and that's not what we do at Schrock. That's one of the founding principles of Schrock. Actually, when we started this crazy ride 25 years ago, people who called computer repair stores for help were belittled. The guy on the other end of the phone wanted you to understand how much smarter he was than you. And so he would use big words and he would try to, explain things in ways that, were technically accurate but made no sense. It's like a doctor trying to explain to you how, heart EKGs work. And it's like, I don't really need to know how that works. I just need to know that it works, right? So at Schrock, one of the things we do when you call in for help or you call into the program here for help, you have a question. 100 other people have the same exact question. They just don't want to ask it because they're afraid they're gonna seem like they don't have any knowledge. And that's one of the first things people come in and they say, "Oh my gosh, I'm not really good with this computer stuff," or some variation of that. And it's like it's not your job to be good with the computer stuff. That's our job. Our job is to make sure that the computer stuff is good to you. That's what we try to do at Schrock Innovations. 402-558-1110 is the number to join the program. If you're outside the metro area, you can join us toll-free, 888-250-2091. As we do every week, we'll be giving away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We were just joking about how dead the phones are this morning. And I said, oh, don't worry about the third segment. Everyone's going to realize the show's almost over. And they're going to realize that the shortest segments are coming up next. And then they will all call and we'll have full banks going into the end. And I'll be on the phone for 20 minutes after the program and everyone will be looking for the aftershock saying, I can't find it. My mom came over for my daughter's birthday. She's like, I always have to wait a week to hear the aftershock. I can never find it. And I'm like, when your mom can't find it, I mean, she's trying hard. She's my mom. She's trying hard. And you guys say you can't find it. I understand. So I told my mom about this fun key on the keyboard. It's at the top. There's a bunch of F keys. Yeah, not that F. Not the F keys, F1, F2, F3, F4. Well, there's an F5. And if you press F5, that's the refresh button. So if you're at facebook.com/Schrock Innovation, don't push it now. Don't do that. Take your finger away. Don't push it right now. You'll lose the Facebook feed. But you can hit F5 and it will refresh the page. And if there's a new video playing like an aftershock, it'll pop right up for you. So speaking of popping right up, do you have a Ring video doorbell? Amazon bought Ring a while ago, so now it's an Amazon company. But one of the things that law enforcement could do is they could use a function directly in the Ring video doorbell to send a request to you as a homeowner saying there was a crime in your area. Can we have access to your video footage from this date between this time and this time? And you could just grant the police permission and access to use it. So it allowed the police to crowdsource eyewitness video, basically, from everybody's doorbell in your neighborhood so they could get a complete picture of what happened. When you have a missing child, for example, this is a feature that was used by law enforcement to say, okay, they walked past your house at this time, then the next doorbell picks them up walking past the house at this time, and then we see the van with the weird guy, the candy, and the puppies, and then all of a sudden the kid's gone. And so that's the van. That's who we need to find. So the police really do use that video for genuine police work. But there was a concern among citizens that you're being filmed all the time. So now when I drive down the street, if I'm in my car where, police have ruled in the past or courts have ruled that you have an expectation of privacy in your vehicle, I can be filmed from outside my vehicle from every camera I drive by, and the police can just request that without a warrant and just get it. And the answer is, yeah, they could. But Amazon has now stopped that. So now police can still old-fashioned police work where they can still walk up to your door, Mrs. Smith, can we have the access to the video footage from your Ring doorbell from this date, from this time to this time, and they hand you a flash drive, because you're going to put the video on the flash drive. They just can't access it through the automatic functions anymore and make individual requests to households, because on a block, you figure think about your neighbors, right? If we sent a message to every neighbor on your block that had a Ring doorbell asking if we could have access to the video footage between a certain time and a certain date, there are some that are going to be very paranoid about that kind of thing, and they're going to say no. The real paranoid people won't have the doorbell, but there's people on the spectrum that'll just say no. There's people on the spectrum that'll say, why do you need access? What's the crime? It's like, if we're talking about something petty, I might not want to bust a couple kids up about it, because come on, guys, look back on our lives. If Ring video doorbells were around when we were kids, did you ever ding-dong ditch anybody? I mean, come on. Did you ever commit a minor infraction in someone's yard that maybe you wouldn't have wanted on camera? Oh my gosh. Everyone says, you kids are so boring these days. You don't have any fun. And the kids respond, well, gee, Dad, the things that you did to have fun when we were kids are now terrorist acts. And we go to prison for 100 years if we do them. It's worse than being Donald Trump if we do them. So, we can't have fun anymore. So the police no longer have access to these Ring video doorbell video feeds automatically. They can still get access to the video. They can still get a warrant. They can still do the hard work to get it. But I think this is a good thing in a way, because if there was, think about it, there was a missing child, I think last year in Papillion. And I don't think they ever found the guy, the child. It was a special needs kiddo that walked away from school and just disappeared. And I think in a situation like that, every single neighbor with a video doorbell would be asking, how can I get you the video? Can you give me a portal to upload it? Like, people will help. People will help in those situations. But unfettered access to video feeds around my house, not so sure I'm really excited about that. So I kind of applaud Amazon for taking this step. They've received a lot of criticism for the ease of access that law enforcement had to Ring video doorbells. Well, now it's a little harder to do. Now you have to get a warrant, or you have to get permission directly in person from the homeowner, not just virtual permission with a pop-up on the screen like a notification where you click yes or no. So you have the opportunity to ask questions or to decide, to think about it, what are you going to do? So interesting stuff there. But if you have a Ring video doorbell, know that your video is just a little bit more secure. Not that it was insecure before, because they still had to ask you if they could use it, but you're not going to get those automated requests from police and law enforcement anymore, but they may actually approach you instead and ask for access. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Stick with us, guys. Coming up on the program, if you're worried about artificial intelligence taking your job, there's some math that you need to know about. And the math don't lie, right? The old math doesn't lie. New math, I don't know about that, but the math when it comes to AI, there's actually a cost to implementing artificial intelligence, and sometimes that cost is more expensive than if you just paid the humans to do the job in the first place. The wetware is cheaper than the AI, if you will. So that's coming up on the program. Also, iOS 17.3 was released this week. So if your iPhone is running hot or your battery is running low, that would be why you got an update. But if you haven't received the update yet, should you install it? Is this one okay? Are there any bugs, glitches, or problems that you need to know about? We're going to tell you coming up next on Compute This.
Computer problems usually don't just suddenly happen. Most failures usually start out as small issues with few or no symptoms. Over time, they grow into error messages, blue screens, and other problems that can be costly to fix. Schrock Innovations' biannual preventative maintenance checkup catches those small problems now before they can metastasize and become tomorrow's costly repairs. During the maintenance checkup, our experienced technicians perform up to 8 hours of tests, checks, automated repairs, and optimizations that keep your computer at peak efficiency while identifying potential issues while you still have options about how to handle them. When your computer gets its first checkup, it can see up to a 25% performance improvement and leaves our service center cleaned, sanitized, and running better than the day you bought it. Just about every complex device requires maintenance. Your computer is no different, especially considering the valuable information that passes through it every day. If you have not had your computer maintenance in the past 6 months, you are overdue. Stop in or call any of our service centers to arrange a free pickup to ensure your computer continues to work for you.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business.
Have you noticed that almost every piece of technology seems to do its best to be disposable? Every day, people toss their phones, tablets, and other electronic devices because they can't be repaired. Manufacturers have engineered their products to fail on a schedule so they can extract more money out of your family budget automatically every year or so. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could get the performance of today's fastest computers with the expansion and upgrade options you used to enjoy? You just described Schrock's modular desktop computers. Having the right tool for the job is important, and Schrock's modular desktop PCs pack the performance and flexibility to handle your computing needs, from just checking the email to running a complex business. Modular desktops are engineered to be easily repaired with widely available industry standard parts. Every component is selected intentionally to give you years of upgrade and repair options. It is not uncommon for a Schrock customer to be using the same computer for a decade after they bought it. Modular PCs are the most popular custom computers in the Midwest for a reason. When you are ready for your next computer, stop in to check out the modular lifestyle or shop online at SchrockInnovations.com.
Alrighty, folks, halftime is over. I hope you got your coffee refilled. I hope Maggie got her donuts, Winston, because we are ready to rock and roll for another half an hour of Compute This. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. During the commercial break there, we jumped into the Facebook feeds to kind of see what everybody was chatting about. And Aaron writes, my 13-year-old arsonist admits to nothing. Thank God there were no Ring cameras in 1981. I don't know what happened in 1981, Aaron. I mean, we were talking, was it like the Drew Barrymore Firestarter movie? Like, what happened in 1981? I kind of want to know, but I don't think you can admit to it now, because, the statute of limitations, who knows what they are? You never know. All right, 402-558-1110, number to join us on the program. I want to remind everybody, if you're a small business owner and it's something you're interested in doing, this coming Friday, I will be speaking at the Omaha Empowerment Breakfast. The details are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. But basically, I was scheduled to speak later in the year, and then something happened with a speaker, and they had to shuffle things around. They asked if I could jump in a little early. And so I said, sure, we'll jump in a little early. And at the time they asked me to do it, I was reading a book called The Fourth Turning Is Now. And it's an update to the theory about, that history, especially history in America, but history of the world happens in turnings, generational turnings. And it's like seasons. You can not want winter to come. You can worry about how cold it's going to be. You can worry about how you're going to move the snow this year. But winter is going to come. There is no stopping it. And that's one of the things these turnings are like, these seasons are going to come. And when you look at how it lays out and you look at the generational traits from, Gen Xers, the boomer power structure is slowly starting to retire and basically fade away, and it's being filled in slowly with Gen Xers. And the Gen Xers slots that are opening up are being filled in by millennials. And the poor Gen Z kids are coming along and they're like, what did you leave me? This is a mess. We need to fix this. This is terrible. But it's really interesting because as a business owner, you have to synthesize all this information around you on a daily basis. And it's really easy to get into a path where you're walking into work and you're seeing the forest. You're seeing the trees in the forest. You're not seeing the whole forest. And therefore, you don't see the giant forest fire coming your way because you're just not consuming that information or you're not synthesizing that information. So my talk next Friday is going to be from a business owner's perspective. How do you take all this stupid information from everything from books you're reading to news reports on what's happening in the Red Sea to all these things that seem to have nothing to do, for example, with a bakery, but maybe they actually do. For example, artificial intelligence. Let's say you own a bakery. And in your bakery, and this is an MIT study, and these guys at MIT, they're super smart. I mean, they're the pointiest of the pointy heads. I mean, they're super smart. But if we take a look at a bakery, let's say that part of the task that the employees do in the bakery is inspecting the ingredients before they go in to the baking process. So you're measuring, you're making sure everything is right before you bake the bread so that you don't have a batch of wasted bread. Because as everybody who's owned a bakery knows, the margins are not super duper high in a bakery. So if you have a lot of product waste, you lose money pretty quickly. So MIT sits down and studies the case study of a small bakery. And they said we're going to limit their case study to visual things that can be done by AI, not computational things, not coding. These are actually like people who actually do things, who are worried that their job is going to be replaced by AI. So they estimated that the task of inspecting the ingredients and double checking measurements before the baking process even starts literally is about 6% of a baker's daily duties. Okay. So a small bakery, let's say with 5 bakers, making $48,000 a year. Okay, 5 bakers who make $48,000, not the bakery making $48,000. I just did the math in my head. I'm like, how are they in business? No, 5 bakers, they each make $48,000 a year, which isn't too bad for a baker. You're making some dough there. Yeah, I did that dad joke. So if they make 48 grand a year, the bakery would save about $14,000 by automating the ability for these bakers, or the requirement that these bakers inspect everything. It can all be done through AI. It'll save them 14 grand a year. Okay. The cost of deploying the computer vision is so much higher than the money that the bakery will save annualized, even if you project that over 5 years, that it would not be financially sound to automate the task, even though it's technologically possible. So here's a great example. You're hearing all the stories about AI. The stock market's going, well, 3 stocks in the stock market are going crazy because of AI and then pulling the whole average up. Meanwhile, all the other stocks aren't going anywhere because no one can figure out how to employ the artificial intelligence in a cost-effective way to reduce costs and boost productivity. It can be done. We can see that it can be done. We know that the first company to do it is probably going to go broke doing it. And the third company that does it is probably going to make a killing, because that's how it usually works. Pioneers take the arrows. Pioneers are face down in the mud, and the third guy coming along gets to settle the home front and put some crops in the ground. So if you're worried that AI is going to come and, eat your lunch, take your job, kill your dog, all these things, don't worry about it just yet, because the cost of deploying this stuff is stupid expensive. I'll give you the example of Schrock Innovations. We are using AI in very limited applications right now, specifically coding. My coders use artificial intelligence to write code for them, which then they have to inspect the code, tweak the code, adjust the code to get exactly what they intend out of it, and then they have finished product. But that finished product takes 10% less time to make because they didn't have to sit down and actually write the syntax. The syntax was technologically correct, but maybe one of the functions needed a tweak or something extra changed in it or commented a certain way that was the preference of the coder to make it in line with all the other code he's written in the past. So my coders are able to get a 10% efficiency kick from ChatGPT writing code for them. Now, does that mean I can fire my coders and have ChatGPT write all the code? No, because ChatGPT, while it can write code, can't create a custom coded solution for me and then adjust it and adapt it based on human feedback. Not yet. Well, I guess technologically maybe it could, but the cost to implement that is so much more expensive than what I pay for my coders that it would just be smarter for Schrock to keep the coders and keep things working the way they're working now, avoid that huge capital investment and spend that money somewhere else. So that's the same decision that management is making in every industry right now. So a lot of the stuff that you hear on in the business channels about all the stocks that are going to see all this productivity improvement, yes, that is going to happen eventually. Yes, you don't want your favorite stock to be the first company to do it because it's going to be painful. Now, at Schrock, we're looking at possibly implementing minor artificial, when you have autonomous cars, they have like level 1, which is like old school cruise control. Like you hit cruise and it maintains that. And if there's a brick wall in front of you, you'll cruise right into the brick wall. And then level 2 is like, cruise control that's adaptive. Like it'll slow down if something in front of you comes up. If you're coming up on a car, it'll automatically slow down, things like that. And then level 3 autonomous driving is kind of what we have now. If you have Ford, the Blue Cruise, Lincoln, it's Active Glide. What do they call it in Chevy? I don't know. The automated driving thing where basically it senses the position of cars around you and it can center you in your lane and it can handle curves and things, but it's not reading stop signs and stoplights. And, if there's a pedestrian that jumps in front of you, it'll slam on the brakes, things like that. That's level 3. Level 4 is fully autonomous driving. That's what Tesla has been promising for years but can't deliver. So we don't have fully autonomous driving yet. The cost of developing that is so intense that the first company that does it is going to invest a lot of money in technology that other companies later are going to look at and say, oh, that's how they did it. And then they're going to find a better way to do it, or they're going to find a similar way to do it, kind of like Apple did with their oxygen sensors in the watch. And the judge kind of slaps them on the wrist a little bit for that one. So you don't want your company to be the first company to do it, but you do understand that if you don't position yourself and get ready to do it, that you're eventually going to be behind the curve, because eventually down the line, years and years and years, it is going to be better to have the technology doing these jobs than it is to have the humans around. Or we'll have a human around, but the human will be so much more productive. You know, if Alfonso can write 10,000 lines of code a day right now, but if he's using ChatGPT, he can write 15,000 lines of code a day. Well, I just got a 50% performance improvement from the same amount of labor dollars I'm spending. So when my labor costs are up 30%, if AI can give me even a 30% increase in productivity or sales, that goes a long way to, as from a small business perspective, to making back what I'm spending on my people that has gone up so much in this inflationary environment. So there's a lot of different things, that a lot of promise that AI can have. But if you're one of the people who's like, this is awful, you know, AI is going to be the end of us, you got some time. That's all I'm saying. 402-558-1110, number to join us on the program, 888-250-2091. I do want to put a quick plug for, I've mentioned this a couple times, but I didn't actually explain what it was. If you're new to the program, you know, once in a while, I have random neurons that fire in my brain and take me off on tangents. And then I realize I'm not talking about anything that has to do with Schrock anymore. And I'm just wasting airtime, right? Wasting your time. So we created this second show called the After Schrock. I didn't name it. The people in Schrockville named it. I didn't name that either. They named that too. But it's like, I am not so conceited as to name everything after Schrock. But the bottom line is, that is where all the things will come out that are random neurons that fire during the program. For example, so far today, we got a sneak peek coming for February's special offer that we have. We try to do a special every month on something. So we're going to have a special in February. We're going to tell you what that is during the After Schrock. We're going to give you another update on Drive Advisor. We've had some breakthrough progress there. I know a lot of people have been patiently waiting for the new version of Drive Advisor. It is so very close. We're going to welcome a couple new employees. We have one employee transfer. We had one new employee added to the service centers. Also, I don't know if you heard the news. You'll hear it at the bottom of the hour here, or at the top of the hour. Germany reports protests, right? Well, we were talking about protests in Germany last week on the Aftershock, except the protests they're talking about today on the news are not the protests that were happening last week on the news. So they're covering the counter protest, but not the original protest. So that's the kind of stuff that you get on the Aftershock, some synthesis of information so that you can have a complete picture of what's going on in the world around you. It's pretty fun stuff. I enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy it too, but you can join us facebook.com/Schrock Innovations after the program for the After Schrock. I'm going to double check here to see if we still have 4 of those Gallant touchscreens left, and it looks like we do. So it's not like people have rushed out and bought all 4 of them here. So basically, we still have 3 of those Gallant touchscreen laptops on special on our specials page for $899. It's SchrockInnovations.com. Just go to Shop and Specials, and you'll find it right there. But basically, it's a technologically nice computer. It's got a touchscreen. The only thing it doesn't have that our normal Gallant has is a backlit keyboard. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then you don't want this one. But otherwise, it's a pretty awesome computer. It's $100 off. I went into why earlier, but they are brand new. They're not, open box or anything like that. They weren't display models. They're brand new computers, and you can check them out over at SchrockInnovations.com/specials. All right, 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091, number to join us on the program. If we get a caller today, they'll win a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. See, that's how it works. Last thing before we take our break here, I've mentioned a few things during the Aftershock about this, but I haven't talked about it during the program very much. But Schrock Innovations is very much a consumer-focused business, and that's not really popular anymore in the IT industry. There's probably 3 large computer repair companies in Omaha, for example. Lincoln, there's fewer, maybe 2. West Des Moines, there used to be a lot. Now it's shrunk down to 2 or 3, including Schrock. People don't want to work with consumers anymore. In Omaha, 2 of those 3 competitors have offered to sell us their businesses in the last year. Now, we weren't able to come to any kind of agreeable terms to do that, but They just wanted to sell us their consumers. They didn't want to sell us their business clients. Because one of the things that IT loves is the business clients, because business clients will pay you a ridiculous amount of money for a minimal amount of service to do things that they don't understand how to do, that they just want to check the box and say it's covered and it's done. You know, we're going to be doing a chiropractors conference coming up here in a few weeks. And there's going to be like 500 chiropractors from Nebraska, basically, Nebraska and Iowa at this convention. And we're going to have a table there. And for example, we have 2 clients that we recently took on as they were chiropractors that we took from another competitor who only does business services. And they're paying 50% less with Schrock Business than they were paying with their previous service provider. Why is that? Because at Schrock Business, we have a different model than every other business provider. Every other business provider, everyone who works there is a system administrator, a network admin, $100,000 plus per year job. That's great. That's amazing. We have lots and lots of chiefs and no Indians. So if you lose your Microsoft toolbar, well, we have a $140,000 a year employee here who's going to help you click the buttons to get your toolbar back. But if you have a real problem, then we got the guys to solve that, and that's great. These guys that do this level of business work, these network admins, they don't want to help grandma with their computer. They don't want to talk you through getting rid of your computer is infected with pornography. They don't want to help you get rid of that pop-up alert that comes up on your screen and talks to you. We've all seen those stupid alerts. So if you call Schrock, we just tell you how to do it over the phone. We don't even charge you. But these other companies, they don't want to mess with that. It's the filthy masses, the deplorables. We don't want them. At Schrock, that's our bread and butter. Like, that's what we do. Now, with that said, we also have a business division called Schrock Business that runs differently because we take the same talent that is willing to help you with your computer problems. And when you're a business customer and you call us and it's some stupid little problem like a pop-up or a toolbar or something like that, or your favorites are missing, things like that, that's like stuff my junior technicians can help you with. Now, maybe your problem is a little more advanced. Maybe you're having some problems with a network printer or something like that. Then my senior technicians can help you with that. Then let's say it's something really bad, like nobody can remote into anything in the business. Your VPN is offline. The switch is broken. The phones aren't working. We are in trouble and we need help. Then we send you a system administrator, a network administrator to help you from Schrock Business. So basically, we have different levels of tiered personal help that we can send you. That's the difference that we make at Schrock Business. All right, we're going to take our final break here. This one's going to be a quick one, guys. We're going to come back, and Patricia, your call coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovation's solid-state laptops are engineered locally for speed and reliability you just can't get from the major national brands. Each of our laptops starts off with an Asus chassis. We remove the stock drives and memory and upgrade them with higher-performing components. This unlocks the full potential of the laptop, making the unit up to 25% faster. This is why Schrock's solid-state laptops last so much longer than the competition. If your laptop starts out 25% faster, that means over time it doesn't slow down nearly as fast.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This, final segment of the show. iOS 17.3 was released this week, and all reports are everything is smooth as butter with this one. When's the last time that's happened, right? Go Apple, nicely done. No problems. Now, people are reporting the same battery life issues they normally do with an update. Let your phone live on the charger for a day or so, and it'll be fine. Give it 24 to 48, and everything will norm out as everything updates on there. All right, 402-558-1110. Patricia, welcome to the program. What can I do for you on Compute This today?
Well, I just had a comment about some AI I ran across. I was calling my health insurance customer service department, and Avery, so-called, said he could understand complete sentences. So I gave him a complete sentence, and then he told me he did not understand what I had told him. I think some of these AI, since they say that they're supposedly, able to learn. So it's what they're doing. These companies are unleashing these AIs that have about a 2.5-year-old vocabulary level,
Yeah.
And then we have to show them the vocabulary before they get our question answered. They have to learn all of this vocabulary from us, and then if we have patience, we might get an answer from them. So it's like they're learning on the job, and it's like it's crazy. It's not good customer service.
No, you're absolutely right, Patricia. Thank you for the call. The only thing that's worse than having an AI that says I can completely understand you, and then like I didn't understand you, is like when you have when you call Walgreens for a prescription refill, and they have a voice activated thing, and your kid's screaming in the background, and it's like, sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, I can't understand you. Please call back. Click. You're like, come on. What?
Exactly.
Thanks for the call, Patricia. I appreciate you joining us on the program here. Do we have time to get Larry in? Are we good? All right, Larry, welcome to the program. I've got about 30 seconds. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yeah, I'm wondering about recycling old computers, old desktops. Instead of throwing it in the dump, would you rather have seen it go through your shop so you could rip the fans out of it and so forth?
Gotcha. So we do recycle desktops and laptops. There's no cost to recycle desktops at all or laptops. The only thing we charge for are printers and monitors. We have a test program going in one of our service centers right now on phones and things like that because our costs, they're charging us to recycle stuff now more than they were before. But you're right. We don't want it to go into the dump of the landfill, not because we're going to pull a fan out of it and make $4 on a fan or something, but because if we keep that stuff out of the landfill, it can literally be repurposed and reused for new electronics in the future. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about this Friday at the Empowerment Breakfast is the need for businesses to begin to realize that we are epically in trouble. Sorry, the filter caught me there. My internal filter. And he didn't have to dump me. That was a close one. But we're in trouble if we don't figure out in America how to make things again, and more importantly, how to actually fix things again. And to actually fix things, you need raw materials. You need the chips. You need the rare earths. You need the gold, the silver. You need the circuit boards. You need all this stuff. And a lot of the stuff that we have is old and decrepit that we're throwing away. If we can, grind that up, chop that up, melt it down, and make it into raw materials, that is going to be, right now everyone's like, oh, that's stupid, Thor. But you look at what's happening in the Red Sea. We're going to talk about this in the Aftershock. You watch what's happening in the Red Sea right now, and tell me if something happens in the Taiwan Strait, that our entire, if Taiwan Semiconductor stops making semiconductors, forget cars and computers and things. You won't get toasters anymore. You won't get coffee makers anymore. Everything has a microchip in it now. Even your armchair has a flippin' microchip in it. So we're going to need to get to the point in America where we can do this stuff again. Or, if you lose too much of the means of production, eventually you're not a superpower anymore. And that's where we're headed. Thank you for the call, Larry. I would be happy to recycle any laptops or desktops that you've got. Today's winner, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate, is Patricia. Congratulations. You got in there and got yourself $25. We're going to go ahead and have Amy is going to get a hold of you on Monday from the Omaha Service Center to get your address and everything, get you made into the system so that we can add that $25 to your Schrock account. You can spend it on anything you want. As I mentioned, guys, only a few days left on the upgrade sale. Be sure to take advantage of that. Free pickup, free drop-off as well if you need that. Touchscreen gallants on special. Go to SchrockInnovations.com. Click on Shop and Specials. And the Aftershock coming up next in about 5 minutes here. Just remember that F5 key, Mom. Push F5 on the keyboard, and it'll refresh that Facebook page until you find me. We'll see you all again next weekend for another edition of Compute This.
From the Amish